welcome along to our mini-series Simon Says. This is day 4 and I am joined again by my special guest who's been with me all this week, and that is Simon Shinerock, the chairman of the Choices Estate Agency Group. And we have been discussing landlord life in a post-COVID-19 world. And today, Simon, your experience of 30 years in estate agency is going to come into really good effect, because we're going to talk about the future of estate agency post-COVID. Very interesting topic, because the whole estate agency business model has really, I guess through COVID, has had to be changed. It's been almost turned on its head, and we've seen all sorts of new technologies coming through, virtual viewings, very exciting times, massive amount of change in the sector going forwards.
And I think that there's been so much happening, Vanessa, and by the way, thanks for having me all this week. It's been great. There's been so much happening that sometimes it's easy to miss the wood for the trees, actually, because and actually, as an estate agent, it's very difficult sometimes, because you're doing your day-to-day job, and you don't get time to open all those emails, and all of these different things come through, and you know, there's a bit of a fear of missing out, but you carry on doing what you're doing, and in the belief that nothing will really ever change. And then suddenly you get something like this. It's come out of the blue, and I've been forced, you know, as a business owner, to make decisions. Initially, I didn't know about the furlough, and I had to make decisions about what I did with my staff, and I hope my true colours came out as far as that was concerned. And then once we knew about the furlough, and we knew we had to rein back in the way that we have done, I decided, yes, I'm going to reimagine the business, I'm going to re-engineer the business, and the business that we open up again won't necessarily be the same looking business as the one that closed down. And So I've been doing that, and I've been making changes within my company. But only yesterday morning I woke up, and it suddenly dawned on me what the major, most important driver is going to be moving forward, and for 2 reasons actually, which I'll be, you know, I hope as clear as I can about. This thing is what you've already said, which is virtual viewings. And don't get me wrong, because virtual viewings is much more than, you know, just doing a video recording and putting it on Rightmove. Virtual viewings can be virtual open houses as well. They can be live in the home, where you can actually answer the questions of everybody as you're walking around, or they can be pre-recorded, and they can be done on an individual basis, or any combination that you like. And I think that the crucial point is that as far as estate agency is concerned, it's one of efficiency and effectiveness. It's about being able to do a lot more work than you would ever have done before. I mean, from our point of view, we've got 14 offices. We have people in all those offices. We have to run those people as effectively as we can. But most of their day is spent out and about. It's been spent out and about, and a lot of our employees are young people. A lot of the people that view the property in our areas are young people. They don't always turn up to viewings, believe it or not. We can't always be sure, you know, that we're using our time in the most effective way. But now, not only have we got the viewings being made virtually, which enables us to safeguard people so they don't have to go out and physically risk going into a property that they don't even like, but we're also able to pre-qualify our buyers and our tenants in a way we've never been able to do before, so that we can make the whole experience far more sharp-ended and far more efficient and far more effective for everybody. And I see a world actually where estate agents, and again, I'm just going to say it how it is, that eventually, I think that as this goes by, for every 5 negotiators that we've got at the moment, I can see you'll get the same amount of work out of maybe 3. So I think that's going to make a huge difference to the high street. It's going to make a huge difference to the way that we operate. And I'm seeing technologies now that will assist us in providing that service in a way that we couldn't even have imagined even a year ago. And they're coming at us at a rate of knots. I saw one yesterday called Gavel, and it comes from Australia, and it enables you to do this amazing hosted virtual viewing. I've seen others. I think there's one called Focal Agent that I'm speaking to quite shortly that will enable us to again host virtual viewings. And the great thing from an estate agency point of view is it also, I feel, focuses away from the portal solution, which I think has, again, trying to explain this from an estate agency point of view to a buyer or a tenant, it's actually quite difficult, because I think a lot of people are given the impression by Rightmove and by other portals that the client is the buyer or the tenant. But from an estate agency point of view, our client is our landlord or our seller. That's who we deal with. And I think that the really hard thing to deal with when you're dealing with tenants and buyers is to explain to them that in order for me to call you first, when I've got maybe 5 or 6 or 10 people to call, and I've got your ideal property coming new to the market that hasn't yet gone on the portal, hasn't even gone on our website, we're only going to value it this afternoon. In order for me to call you first, I've got to believe that you're the best buyer, the best tenant, the most serious. And I think that what this new technology does, and it will enable us to, as agents anyway, if we use this intelligently and smartly, to regain control of our hyper-local marketplaces by building up a rapport with our buyers and our tenants, and giving them access to properties on a preview exclusive basis, using things like social media to let them know when these properties become available, building up the anticipation, which is what you want, the excitement, I've got this new property, it's fantastic. Here's a couple of photographs. I'm actually going to be in this property on Tuesday, and I'm going to be there, and you can actually walk around with me asking me questions, I can open up the doors and show you, anything that within reason you want to see. This was never available before. You couldn't do it, not in this way. And so I see a future for estate agency where we have more highly skilled people, probably less people, and probably better paid people doing the job, not being replaced by technology, because we're quite a long way away from that happening, in my opinion. But using the technology to reduce our carbon footprint, which is going to make a lot of people happy, reduce the amount of journeys that have to take place, reduce the time wasting, and turbocharge the ability to reach the audience locally.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating stuff, Simon, and it's very interesting what you said about building anticipation for an audience, because this is how YouTubers are really successful. They schedule what's known as a premiere, and then they invite people to join and be on hand to watch the premiere when it airs. So they are building that anticipation, they're building the audience, and getting them revved up, ready to be receptive to the viewing. And what you've highlighted is very, very similar, and we know it works because we've already heard of a £17 million property in London that was bought on a virtual viewing only. So that's proof of concept that it's going to work. I think the other thing that's interesting, and it's again with respect to what you said about adapting quickly and early adopting things and getting ahead of the curve, On the Market announced today that they are you can now filter search results on properties that are available for online viewing via a virtual viewing. So it's interesting to see how quickly the sector's adapted.
Yeah, no, it will be. And I think that from an estate agent's point of view, I'm looking forward to, I'm certainly not going to knee-jerk any changes. Anything that happens, we've got to dovetail in. But change is an inevitability. And I'm seeing this whole process of coming out of furlough as an opportunity to learn these new technologies, to implement them in a controlled environment, to understand how they work, to test them to destruction if necessary, and then to integrate them fully into our business. So we're making changes probably within months that we would have otherwise taken years to implement. We're taking really quite bold steps. I'm sure that there will be some mistakes made. I could talk all day long about, the things that are going on in the market, which I don't think will succeed, as well as the things that I do think will succeed. But it doesn't matter, because there's many ways to skin a cat. I think the most important thing from my point of view as a marketeer, estate agent, is to have control and ownership of my business. And I like the idea of having suppliers who serve me, just like we serve our clients. But I don't like the idea of being in their pocket. And I think the problem that I've had, particularly with Rightmove and the other portals, has been, but particularly Rightmove actually, because I've had some very friendly relationships with, especially Zoopla actually. But I think that the problem I've had is the relationship has been unbalanced. And also, and this is the most important thing about that, from a tenant, buyer, seller point of view, is I think it misleads people about the true nature of estate agency, which is that the good stuff, you'll only get it if you make the effort to build a relationship with your local estate agent. You're not going to get the good stuff if you just look on Rightmove. You're going to miss out. And even if you advertise your stuff, your virtual viewings on portals, for a lot of agents, as we grow our local market, and bear in mind, so many purchases take place within the local market. That's where we're going to start. That and this new technology is for the first time giving us back control over our businesses, a control that we lost when the newspapers sort of stopped being a big force. But I think this now is an opportunity for the estate agent to come into his own, for the good ones to rise to the top, to provide a service that is friendly to the planet, safe for the people going out and viewing, gives the negotiator and the manager a better job to do, which is more efficient, more effective for them. They can be more productive and therefore better paid. So I think, again, there are icebergs ahead. I said to you in the first couple of videos that I'm generally an optimist, and I shall be informed by experience. But I find this is an exciting moment in the development of the industry.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating to hear your views, Simon. And I think one thing I'm going to take away from this interview, which is the velocity of change is absolutely massive. And things have been accomplished in weeks that would have maybe taken years. So those that do adapt and change, stay informed, see where everything's going, they will be the success stories of the future, because people are always going to need to buy, sell and rent properties, and that service is needed. But post COVID, we're going to see really, really dramatic change, and positive things. Some businesses will fall by the wayside, but as you say, the ones that do move with the change, that they're going to be okay.
I agree. And I also feel from a Choice's point of view, we've got a lot of, I've always been an innovator, as you know, and it's been hard to get the message across sometimes with things like the advanced rent option, because there's such a lot of noise out there, and we are gradually getting it out there. But I think these new technologies will accelerate that process as well. So I feel that, having a really good USP, unique selling proposition, for those who don't know what that means, I think that is going to come into its own even more so for the future. And as far as I'm concerned, it's taken 30 years, but I think we might become an overnight success any minute now.
Well, that's awesome. And we're actually using those technologies now to, talk about these issues. And you mentioned the advanced rents option as well. Previously, we came and filmed at your event, but today we're able to talk to you in sunny Spain about it. And I will put a link underneath this video to anybody that's interested in knowing about how Choices can they have a product called the advanced rent option, where you can get 12 months rent paid in advance. A lot of the advice that's being given on the Property Tribes community is that landlords really do need to build up a strong cash buffer during these uncertain times, and to receive 12 months rent in advance would obviously help contribute to that cash buffer to help landlords weather the storm. So that's brilliant, Simon. We're very much looking forward to the final instalment of Simon Says. So please join us tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube, please do like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell. And please pop across to propertytribes.com. That is where our discussions are hosted and where you can check in with Simon, ask him any questions about these issues or indeed the advanced rent option. He would be delighted to advise. So for now, Simon, we'll sign off today and I'll see you tomorrow for the final instalment of Simon Says.